Hi there, it's Nicole from Mama Elephant, and today I have a birthday card showcasing the new Girlfriends stamp set and coordinating dies. This is an adorable stamp set for all of those great girlfriends in your life. I'm going to start by, I've trimmed down a piece of white cardstock to 4 inches by 5¼ inches, and I'm die cutting the Columbus circle die from this. It's going to leave a great little opening and then that fun stitching detail. Now I'm also taking another piece of cardstock and I'm going to use one of the fine trimmings dies to create some stitching along the top edge. In fact, I'm going to do a double row of stitching. My first one was a little wonky, so I flipped it around and did it again. One thing about this is in the finished card, I actually swapped this out for a black cardstock piece. I felt like the white on white wasn't really working. I couldn't figure out a color of ink that I wanted to use to color in this strip. So what I ended up doing was die cutting this from black cardstock. So I'll show you that here in a little bit. These are going to be the main components here, other than the die cut greeting with the new Hooray greeting die. I've stamped the group of friends on some smooth white cardstock using Simon Says Stamp Intense Black ink. And then I'm simply going to color in the image with Copic markers. Because there are so many little people here, there are quite a lot of marker colors used. You probably would not have to use quite as many as I did, but I'm going to definitely speed through this process just to save a little time in this video. Even though I'm leaving all of the coloring in, this is going to be super fast. If you have any questions about the colors of markers I used, they are all linked below the video here on YouTube, plus they are linked on my coordinating blog post that goes with this video and card. When I'm coloring in images of people like this, I tend to always start with the skin tone, and from there I generally go to the hair. I did skip today and decided to start working on the clothing while I kind of tried to work out in my mind what colors I wanted to use for their hair. I stuck to only about 2 or 3 colors or shades per color. Keep my blending nice and easy here. I think their cute little faces are just so super fun. Lots of great ways to use these images. You definitely wouldn't have to use them just for birthday cards, just all kinds of different girlfriend type of cards. I did skip up and start doing the hair at this point because I was still working out what exactly I wanted to do for the remaining 2 tops on those girls on the left. And go ahead and skip over and do her hair. I wanted to do it kind of a darker brown. In those little highlight areas, I just added some lighter color of marker. Just quick feathering to add all of their hair. I went back in and added some darker areas. I'll finish with this little girl's hair over here. I'm going to go ahead and do her vest in red, do her hat in shades of red and blue to coordinate with her little outfit. Just making sure to blend all of the colors really well. You can see the image come to life with the addition of all of the coloring. You absolutely would not have to Copic color these. I think the images would look great with colored pencils, with some watercolors. Anything that you have would be awesome to color in these images. Just going to fill in the rest of the areas that need some color now. Do a little violet jacket here. Make sure their shoes are colored. I did leave the buttons all white just for now. At the end of the video, I will add a little color to those as well. I'm going to take the coordinating Girlfriends die now, line that up. I'm going to use a little post-it tape to hold it in place and then run that through my die cutting machine. What I love about this die is it is going to cut out all those little areas around their legs. So it's going to be a lot more detailed than just a white line around the whole image. I'm going to line that all up and make sure that I still like how it's looking. That is going to be great. That little border along the bottom is going to give a nice area to ground the whole image. Plus give me a place to add my great big scripty greeting and my stamped greeting. This is a piece of fun foam that has stick-it adhesive on both the front and the back, which is going to make it a sticker. Plus, I am die cutting. I went ahead and adhered some cardstock to the top of that fun foam piece before I die cut it, so that it die cut it all as a sticker instead of trying to line it up afterwards, which I have been doing, but I find that sometimes it's kind of hard to do. It did make it really thick to go through my die cutting machine, but it ended up die cutting perfectly. So there is my great big greeting. I'm going to add a little color to that with the Salty Ocean Distress ink, and I want the color to be concentrated near the bottom of the die cut. So I'm kind of pouncing it on along the bottom, building up that color. I want to kind of gradually kind of have that ombre effect to the top where it ends up being white, light blue, and then going to that darker blue. Once I have the color added the way I want it to look, I can go ahead and set that aside, and I'm going to take another piece of cardstock trimmed to exactly the same size as my front panel, and I am going to apply some Salty Ocean Distress ink to this as well, just concentrating the ink on where that opening is going to be, building up the color so that it's got that great blue, and it will show blue behind all of those cute little girlfriends. Once I have the color applied, I want to add some distressing. Because I did this on regular cardstock and not watercolor cardstock, I am going to use some distress paint to add my little water, or not water droplets, but white flecks instead of removing the color with water. So I watered down some picket fence distress paint, and then I used a small paintbrush to flick that all over the surface. Here is my new black border. It has the same stitching detail. That's just a nice finishing touch to that edge. And I'm going to swap that out for the white one, or swap this one in instead of the white one. I've used the powder brush or the powder tool over this strip because I'm going to add an additional greeting with a happy birthday greeting from the Girlfriends stamp set. I'm going to stamp that with Versamark ink and heat emboss it with white embossing powder. So I'll ink up my stamp that right there where it's going to go, sprinkle on my embossing powder, and then heat set that with my heat tool. Just make sure that I try to remove as many of this little flecks as possible. Sometimes black tends to be a little less forgiving than other colors. I'm going to adhere that along the bottom of my front panel. Go ahead and remove the backing paper from my dimensional die cut greeting word. Go ahead and pop that in place as well. You can see that nice ombre effect. It coordinates with the background. Now on the back of this panel, to give some additional dimension to my card, I am going to back it with some foam adhesive. This is just going to help kind of give it some dimension, make it a little more interesting and fun. I like to completely cover my back so that I don't have to worry about it kind of getting any decompressed in any areas when it goes through the mail. Finish adding all of that, and I'll peel off all of my backing now and then just pop this in place over my background. Line it up perfectly. I'm going to go ahead and adhere the Girlfriends. They are going to be flat against the back there. Just trying to make sure I get those adhered the way I want them to look. Then I'm going to stamp some of the cute thought bubbles from the Girlfriends stamp set on some smooth white cardstock using some black ink. I'm using that same Simon Says Stamp Intense black ink, and I'm going to use both of the kinds of thought bubbles. You can customize some of them. Some of them already have greetings in them, like the I love you already has its greeting there, but there's also some empty thought bubbles where you can customize them. So I'm going to use a combination of both so that I have a total of 4 thought bubbles. And then I will die cut these with the coordinating dies that come with the Girlfriends die collection. I'm going to use most of the thought bubble sizes. One of the customized ones says yay, the other one is going to say OMG. Go ahead and use a little Post-it tape to hold the dies in place while I run those through my Big Shot die cutting machine. And I accidentally messed up one of them, so I had to redo it real quick. And I like to try to die cut as many as I can with one pass of the machine. So in this case, I can do 2 at a time. And I'm simply going to pop those up there above those cute little girlfriends so it looks like those are the little greetings that they're all shouting out to their friend. So again, I'll just line up the dies again with my other thought bubbles, run those through, and I'm going to adhere those little speech bubbles with additional foam adhesive. So lots of foam adhesive on this card, but I think the dimension really helps. I used some American Crafts foam circles. They ended up being the perfect size. And I'll just pop those in place all around the top of this design. Once I have my thought bubbles or little speech bubbles all in place, I'm going to finish my card with a scattering of sequins and confetti. It looks super cute the way it is. You can totally leave it like this. I love the addition of little sequins and confetti. They're great little embellishment pieces that are easy to add and add just a fun touch to cards, I think. I like to adhere my sequins with Zot's Bling glue dots. And then the confetti is so small that I end up using the Ranger Matte Multi-Medium to adhere those. So I add little dabs of it using the fine tip applicator tool and then pick them up with the quick stick tool and adhere them all the way around. This panel is attached to a white side fold card base. And you could even add some additional stamping inside the card if you wanted to. I ended up not doing that for this card, but I may go back and do that later. This is where I'm adding some detail to the buttons on the outfits with a black glaze pen, and that will finish up my card design. Thanks for watching this video showcasing the Mama Elephant Girlfriends stamps and coordinating dies. The supplies I've used are listed and linked below the video here on YouTube. Here are a couple more Mama Elephant videos you might be interested in. Thanks for watching, and we'll catch you next time.